Okay, so we're going to see another one. The one you're going to see now is in my classroom. It was a couple years ago, and it was a dress rehearsal. This wasn't the actual presentation. Okay?
So do we grade her on the dressing or no?
Don't grade her on the dressing. Well, you know, give her a 5.
Many people want to lose weight, but don't really have the motivation or skills to do this. All the women look in mirrors saying that they want to change this, change that, but they really don't know where to start, and they're always like, oh, I don't have time to do this is too much work, and whatever excuse they may come up with. Well, I wanted to lose weight myself, and I wanted the motivation too, so this was the goal of my senior project, was to get this motivation and knowledge of nutrition and fitness in order to help other people and myself. The goal of my senior project was to help people get motivation to be healthy and realize you cannot do the same training as others. There were 3 main points to my senior presentation, which is the procedure in progress, the explanation, and what I have learned. First off, in order to do my senior project, I had to pick a mentor. Quasi Boltley was the one that I picked, and he is a personal trainer at Upper Level Fitness. He owns and operates his own business. He has also trained me previously for a couple years, and he also trains other athletes and people of all different ages. He's also a very good motivational speaker and helps people get really the motivation just to do things that you normally couldn't do yourself. First off, my process and my product. What I was going to do was do this nutrition and fitness plan in our high school. But after talking to Quasi, he said that teenagers probably aren't as reliable as adults would be since they have so much going on. So I decided to go with what he said and do it with adults. My mom, who also personal trains other people at her house, I decided to use the girls that she trains as my sort of pets on this. So they decided to help me out with my product, and they went forth with my project. My explanation of my project was that I was going to give people a nutrition and a fitness plan for 3 weeks, and if they wanted, they could go beyond it. And so they all agreed to. And what I did is I kept a journal, and I wrote down how their weight started off with, and after each week I put down their weight and if they did anything wrong or what they did right and how to improve on it or stay the same. And I also recorded their goal at the end of 3 weeks. And most of them said that this really helped with them to help keep on track and keep motivated. Also, I kept notes in my journal that I had meetings with Quasi where he helped me and trained me with nutrition and fitness facts, and he helped me explain more things further to the girls that if he wasn't there to help me with, I could do it on my own. I also learned a lot from Quasi. And the first thing that I learned was that you cannot starve yourself. You need to eat every day and at least 3 meals a day. Because if you don't eat, your body thinks it's starving and that food will go into storage as fat. Also, that you need a cheat day. So if you are going to have a cheat day on Friday, let's say, you shouldn't probably eat that cookie Monday because you will have the motivation to wait and say, oh, I'm eating that chocolate Friday. I'm not going to go and eat that Monday. Also, your diet plans should be foods that you like. You shouldn't totally deprive yourself on everything that you like just to lose weight. If you know that a salad is not going to make you full or you don't like it, don't put that on your diet. You could have pasta, but just not as much as you usually do. You want to have a little portion of pasta. Also, during exercises, you need to shock your body. You cannot do the same exercise every day. Say if you go on the treadmill one day and do weights, the next day you shouldn't go on the treadmill and do weights. Maybe go on the elliptical and do push-ups or sit-ups. You need to make sure that your body isn't in a regulation of what you're doing so that you could lose as much weight as possible. Some facts that I got were that these are daily intake facts for about a 2,000 diet. and it's 2,400 milligrams of sodium that you should intake, 25 grams of fiber, and that if you eat more, if you exercise more, you could eat more. That means if you are on a 2,000 calorie diet, that you could go to the gym and burn 900 calories, which means that you could now eat 2,900 calories because you have decreased the amount that you have taken in. This website that I have found, I showed to the women in my mom's class that I was training, where you could calculate all your calories and your fitness intake, and you add in what you eat. Say you did eggs in the morning, you could type it in and it will pop up, and you could put the serving size, when you did it, and if you ate this, you click that and it subtracts it from your calorie intake. It'll show you how much you consumed and how much you burned. Say for fitness that you ran a certain amount of miles, or branding animals. It'll show how much you burned, and it will take it away from how many calories that you intaked. You could also add how much water consumption you took, and you could change your calorie intake if you want to lose weight. And it also shows the different cholesterol, fat, sodium, carbs, sugars. It modifies each one down to a little individual, so you know each intake that you're taking. And this really helped them in order to take track of what they were eating and what they were doing too much of, and how to minimize it down. It'll show each individual thing of what they need to stop eating. The benefit of my senior project was the motivation and knowledge that I needed to learn in order to help these women, and I really got it from Quasi. He really helped me, and he called me whenever if I needed help, if I was okay, and he really gave me a lot of knowledge to help these women. Also, my development was now a better understanding of nutrition, where I was more comfortable explaining to the women about nutrition and other people, and I'm even comfortable with myself now and how to proceed into fitness and nutrition. And what I got out of this project was motivation myself and knowledge to further explore nutrition in college. Thank you.
Back to them. Okay, Rachel, you want to stand there?
Yep.
Rachel, I was just wondering whether you met your goal of weight loss. You mentioned that at the beginning of your speech.
Yeah.
Can you tell us all about how much you lost, or if you're happy with your loss, or whatever?
Yeah, I didn't actually write it down in my journal. I kind of just kept track in my head, but I actually lost 10 pounds in 2 weeks from just minimizing all the fat food out, because I would eat carbs so much every day, 3 pieces of bread, and I just minimized it down to a couple things, and I actually lost a lot of weight from just what Quasi was telling me about.
You lost 10 pounds in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. Introduction in the content area. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I gave it an 8. I think the first line gets you, because everybody has interest and concern about weight. I could see that. I thought the way she developed it wasn't particularly creative or terribly compelling, but it was fine. Okay? So I see that as kind of a B-ish grade for myself. Component 1, selection, relationship with mentor. 8, 9, 10. She gave him a lot of credit. She mentioned him several times and what he did, and gave some background. And again, it's a question, how much can she devote, how can anybody devote to the mentor to take up that much time in the speech? So I think that somewhere between 8 and 10 would be reasonable. Procedure and process for the product. 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I gave her a 10. I'd like to hear from those of you who gave her lower. What would you have wanted that she did not discuss? Yes?
I felt it was a little vague. I didn't really get a clear understanding as to what she did with the
what she did on a daily every time they met. You mean? Yeah, I could see that.
And I didn't understand if she was training them, if they were training her, if it was her mother's group.
I thought it was
I got
confusing.
I got confused.
I also thought she proposed it as her own goal for herself and didn't even mention it.
She did in the beginning. She said she wanted to lose
She
weight.
didn't say throughout the process what she
Oh, what she did herself. She said it at the end when
at the end they had to ask her how did
I asked her. That's right. Yeah, you're right. That's
The
true.
opening was about her.
That's
and
true.
The rest of it was about the girls.
Yeah.
Which I had an exception.
Yeah.
To girls.
No, I think you're right. I think I was high.
I give her an 8.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll give you that. No problem. Okay, the next one was the exhibition and explanation of the product with the audiovisual. 6, 7.
That would have been bigger, right, in the regular room.
I don't know that it was. Was it?
Yeah, she had it up on the screen.
She had it up on the screen itself. That was my classroom. That's what we were left with until we got our projectors. That's how it looks. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Where was I? 7, 8, 9, 10. I gave it an 8. I thought that journal wasn't helpful at all. And I think she could have done something with that. Maybe had an overhead or something that showed us one page in it. Something like that would have been helpful. The thoughtful reflection on gains and legacy and what she got out of it, her conclusion. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we're kind of all over the place. I gave her a 9, but they might be high. I don't know. I don't think there was a whole lot of reflecting. It was just a wrap up pretty much. You know, so I could see you going as low, maybe even as a 7. Okay. I don't see a 10 on that. Yes.
Yeah, one of the reasons I gave her a 7, and maybe it's not fair to compare it to the first one we saw.
Yeah, well.
But the first young lady we saw explained how getting over this fear would help her get over other fears. She brought it out. She applied it later to her life. Whereas she stuck very closely to the script.
That's
I
right.
now know about this.
No, that's absolutely
And
right.
I didn't see any.
Yeah. I think the other conclusion was a 12, with the exception of her repetition of the word conquer.
Yeah.
But I forgave that because her inspiration value was so high and so strong. I could not be nitpicky about overuse of any one word. Do you know?
This was more profound.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Language. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. She had many sentence structure errors. It wasn't just grammar here and there. She started a sentence and then whatever she said after it didn't even work with it. But we knew what she meant. So her weak sentence structure kept her from being considered an elegant speaker, but it didn't impede communication. Not really. I understood everything she said. I never had to go, what did that mean? Okay. Eye contact. Again, I don't know if you could tell it. It was a 10. She looked at everybody in that classroom that was there. Her voice, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, the 7s. Tell me what you were waiting for that you didn't get. 7s and 8s. What did you want more of?
more emotion.
Yeah, I would say an emotion. She was pretty much flat. She was always clear. She always had good volume. She had good clarity. She didn't have the rate problem that Ellie had before her, and the tongue tripping and the speeding up, and she didn't have that very much. She had it a few times. But the excitement and the emotion, I think, really was lacking, especially compared, again, you're comparing to the other. But you're going to be comparing when you sit and watch these kids. You know you are. You're going to look at the first speaker, and you know, You're going to put a little check down to keep it in your head. And then the second one is going to go check plus, check minus, based on the first one. You know, this is what we do frequently.
When you overcome a fear, you're going to have more emotion
Yes, that's true.
than learning how to do a push-up
Yes,
or whatever.
yes.
I'd be excited about losing 10 pounds. Oh.
But she didn't address that though during.
She waited till I asked her the question.
Happier before senior ball or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
She actually got more emotional when she answered the question.
Yes, she did. Remember I told you they like the questions? There's that real, now you're people. You're really interacting.
Too bad she didn't want that.
Yeah. Okay, so I gave her a 9 finally on that. Appearance, you had to give her a 5 because I said so. Poise, 3, 4, 5.
Because she looked at the cards, right?
That's all right to look at her cards. Well, that's a gesturing issue. You cannot expect effective gesturing from first-time speakers. You can't expect it from second-time speakers. You can't expect it very much even after a full course in public speaking. The body is the last thing to come, because when the body comes naturally, it means that there's a sense of being comfortable, completely at ease.
So that should be ignored, basically.
Well, no, but I think what she did there, I wouldn't count that against her. You'll see that all over the place. I really wouldn't. If she had started rubbing her face and, flailing her arms all over the place and distracting you from her content, yeah, then you start docking it. But because she didn't have graceful, well-timed gestures, no one would have taught her that. There's no way she would know how to do it or be comfortable enough to. I coach speech kids every day. Are going to nationals. We're taking 10 of them in a couple weeks. And the hardest thing of all always has been the body. What do you do with it? Even the most experienced, talented kids don't know what to do with their hands. And then I look at the adult speakers across the nation, with the exception of Maya Angelou and Mario Cuomo. I don't know. You could probably name a few others. I do not see our president is quite good with that, I think. But you don't really see most people knowing how to use the body as gracefully as we might want them to. Audiovisual. Oh, I'm sorry. Did we do appearance? Yeah, we did that. We are audiovisual. Is it? This is the integration. We're focusing in.
This is the integration of it?
Yeah. What did you have for? I gave her a 4. Anybody give her lower than a 4? Anybody? You did? You gave her a 3? What? Tell us why.
She didn't seem comfortable navigating the website. It wasn't, like, she was fine using the website, but she wasn't comfortable putting that in the presentation.
It wasn't particularly practiced.
Yeah. It seemed like it was a practice too, so.
Yeah. Yes. I guess yes. There wasn't much. I guess the thing is that she has to go back, and I've known this as a teacher, when we didn't have the screen. We have to go back, and the whole class has to look at something on a little screen up here, and everybody's out there, and you're talking, and you're looking here, and then you're talking and looking back. That happens a lot. That could be a lot more graceful and be a lot better if she was able to project it in front of her.
Well, what I would have expected was she was going to list something that somebody ate and the calories,
yes,
and then something that somebody did and the calories burned. Would have been nice if she had known ahead of time what she was going to do. It felt to me like eggs. Maybe, and then she went to say running, and then she clicked on the wrong button, which for poise, I think that raised it up a little bit because she handled it, but I would have expected her to know what she was going to click for this presentation.
And my guess is she did it better in the presentation. Remember, this was her rehearsal in class.
Right. I would,
Making it more personal,
right. But that's what you were watching, so if this is what you saw, this is what you saw. Question and answer, 5. If you're expecting anything more than that, you won't get it. She was very happy to tell you. She was very fluent. She was very forthright. She said what she had to say, and then she stopped. She didn't blather on, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you that. Okay, this one, the total, I end up with somewhere between 89, 90 in that range. If you're high 80s or low 90s with her, you're in the ballpark. If you're low 80s, you're too harsh. You're grading too hard, okay? You're not rewarding them for what they do well. You're looking for the things wrong. You're looking for them to be perfect when they can't be, nor should they be expected to be, okay? Before I turn this back to Dave, anybody have a question on either of these presentations or? Yeah.
Have you ever had a student that just couldn't start?
Couldn't start?
Because of nerves?
Yes, I had one in Pittsford years ago. It was really dreadful. He stood there and he could not speak. It was his final. And I was sitting in the back and I tried to get him. I always ask a question or just say something to put him at ease. That was not helping. And I found out later it was real psychological. It's the only time I've ever seen that. He looked back and when he saw me, even though I was in my early 20s, he saw his mother. And his mother had told him that if he failed this, he would not graduate. And if he didn't graduate, he would be a disgrace to the family, et cetera, et cetera. There's too much riding on it for this kid. And I didn't know that when I was watching him. I thought he wasn't prepared.
What happened?
He was frozen. I don't remember, but I know that whatever I did, he wasn't going to fail. He was going to get a chance to do something. I mean, that was just awful.